Good morning. Back out here on the creek. It rained pretty good yesterday, so that kind of helps determine where you're going to go if the water's up. It changes your choices and where to dig. So today I'm back at the trough. I've been working this bedrock ledge along this way, and so I'm just outside of the ledge towards the middle of the stream, and right on like a hump of bedrock, so I'm not getting any clays or anything. I think it's been an exposed hump. The clays might be gone. I'm just getting overburdened, so I'm trying to dig past it, and maybe where the hump will drop off into another V and it'll deposit some gold and clays. But when I lifted my shovel, I thought I was pulling a stick up, but it was this thing. And that is not a stick. That is a big piece of iron of something or another. So let's see what happens if I pull it out. Oh, well, that's surprising. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's some sort of part of a vehicle, a tractor or some kind of farm implement. It's got a hole through that end and it just goes out to a fork. It reminds me of a universal joint, but there's no holes or anything on this end, so I do not have a clue what that is. If anybody recognizes it, it's about, so I think it's over 3 feet long. Get a full view of it there. Interesting though. If anybody knows what that is, please leave me a comment. I'm really curious. All right, almost done with bucket one. This is pretty much what I've been getting. I'm not expecting much out of this first bucket because I'm digging up and over this bedrock hump. This feels pretty clean, like it's been river worn a lot. So I'm trying to get past it and find some edges or a deep hole where it drops off, breaks off or something. And so most of my shovels have just been overburdened, plus a little bit of clay or bedrock at the very tip of the shovel. It's not yielding me much of a deposit of clays above it like I've been getting. Hopefully I'm going to work into that next section. I might have to be more aggressive about moving down there, because we'll see what this holds. Sometimes you're surprised, but I'm not really looking forward to too good of a sluice number one, bucket number one, sluice one. All right, there's sluice bucket number one. Actually, it's a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. There is a lot of smalls and micros in there, but there's also more bigger pieces that didn't show up in the sluice. I could feel a little bit of a pile under my finger, so I'm going to say that's around 30 milligrams. All right, this is the last shovelful that's going into bucket number two. It's a bit better than bucket number one on average, as I got more bedrock clays and stuff, and maybe like a third of a shovelful on average in each shovel, whereas bucket one is more just like the very tip. It's still a lot of overburden, so that's what I'm working right now. All right, starting bucket number two. I'm gonna run 5 scoops. On this side. There's 4. So that represents the top layer of my bucket. This should have been pretty good material. See if we got any gold pop out. Don't see any. One tiny piece. That's not from one. There's one there. Just a couple of flecks isn't too good to start. All right, here's the bottom of bucket 2. About a half a scoop left in the bottom of the bucket, and I got two nice medium flakes there. And there's a few more smalls and micros back in here. So, all in all, that's not too bad for a bottom of bucket. It sort of surprised me. All right, here's bucket number 2 concentrates, and that's just how the buckshot, looks like there's at least 3 pieces in there, and that one big round one is, that looks like the biggest piece of buckshot I've ever found. There's a couple nice flakes of gold popping up, so let's see. Yeah, so it looks like a pretty nice run. Bucket number 2 cleaned up. I'm estimating around 0.03 again. Well, that's a first for me. I lost my glove. It floated 50 feet downstream. That's crazy. It was a pretty day out here today. I keep thinking that log sticking up out of the water is a beaver coming to get me or something, and just catch it out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh, double check that. But this is where I'm at. I started digging right in here, and it's like on top of the bedrock. It's a big chunk of bedrock there, a little bit of a V here, but it seems to be mostly filled with flood gold, and then big flat piece of bedrock coming across here, and then drops off, and again more like flood material. So I was digging my way this way, and I found it feels like a bedrock V. I'm not totally sure it is, but I got into some more clay and soft bedrock, decomposing bedrock that I could dig. So that's kind of where I'm focusing now, is more like right in through here. All right, I overfilled that bucket again. Oh well. I did fix my sluice in the bucket number 2. Too much water was going out from underneath the sluice, and gave me a problem, so I got them looking better. So bucket number 3 should be 5. Should be real close to 2. This bucket should be a whole lot better because I was actually getting bedrock chunks in with the clay. And still underneath a fair amount of overburden, but it should be better. A few smalls right there. Looks like the nicest flake right there. So one nice flake and about 4 or 5 smalls. So not a great start, but better than nothing. All right, there's sluice number 3. It is a bit better. There's a little bit bigger gold in there. Mostly on that side for some reason. A little bit down through here, smalls and micros on that side, but this side looks pretty good. Hopefully some other pieces made it down through into the dropout zone of the sluice. All right, there's sluice number 3. Felt pretty good with my fingers. I'm going to say that's a 0.05. So that was a pretty good run. I got enough time to do one more bucket, so I'm going for it. 4 buckets today. All right, starting bucket number 4. This is the decomposing bedrock and a bit of overburden, but getting consistently digging that stuff now, so I'm really happy about that. Okay, sluice run number 4, bucket 4. So a few nice pieces in there. It's pretty much like bucket 3, I think, so that's a good sign. Just larger, nicer pieces right there. A good row of them. All right, there's bucket number 4. I'm going to say that's about 0.04 maybe. So I think it was 0.03, 0.03, 0.05, and 0.04. So that should be 0.15 for the day. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully we got over 0.15. That'll be the goal. All right, so the interesting thing I found today was this iron piece. It does look like maybe the ends were threaded, so it can't be that old, but it is pretty corroded. I'm gonna put it back under the water so maybe it'll corrode less. And then the other interesting thing I found was some chain that's corroded together pretty good. I did find a pan trap and hooked to a chain very similar to this near here, within a few yards away a couple of years ago, so maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. It's just interesting how it corrodes, sets up together. So that's a day in the life of Quaerere gold panning. It's pretty hard work for little pay, but hopefully I got 0.15 today. We'll see. Anyway, it was a beautiful day. Great day to be outside. All right, there's the gold from the day. Let's weigh it up here. See what we got. .122. So